Hello everyone, my name is Tang Wei. Today I want to give you a lecture on the symphony poem of the late Romantic period, The Death and Transfiguration of Richard Strauss. First of all, my lecture is divided into 8 parts. They are respectively composer biography, background of composition, overview of the work, orchestration, and analysis of musical structure, interpretation of themes and motive, artistic value of the work, and the conclusion. Strauss was born in 1864. He was a German composer and conductor, deeply influenced by the New German School, led by Liszt and Wagner. Strauss is considered the last inheritor of the German-Austrian musical tradition and a representative composer of the late Romantic era, often mentioned alongside Mahler. His first symphony poem to receive widespread acclaim was Don Juan, followed by other highly regarded works such as Death and Transfiguration, Don Quixote, and A Hero's Life. Other notable works by Strauss include 2 symphonies, Artisans, the Violin Concerto in D minor, Horn Concerto No. 1, and so on. Shortly after the premiere of his symphony poem, Don Juan, in 1889, Strauss completed the composition of Death and Transfiguration, dedicating the work to his friend Friedrich Roche. After completing the music, Strauss asked the writer to compose a poem based on this concept. The first version of the poem was written for the premiere, but was soon revised and expanded to more closely reflect the symphony poem. The second version was published alongside the score. In June 1890, Strauss himself conducted the premiere of Death and Transfiguration in Essen. Death and Transfiguration is not derived from literature of any other art form. It's premiere a product of the composer's imagination. When the work was published, a revised version of the poem appeared at the beginning of the score. This second version significantly expanded the original, growing from 22 lines to 62 lines, and divided into 4 sections, each separated by horizontal lines, aligning with the overall structure of the composition. The essence of the second version of Richter's poem is as follows. It portrays a dying artist deeply devoted to his ideals, achieving purification and relying those ideals in the anonymity of death. While there are some differences in details between Strauss' correspondence and Richter's poem, Strauss' programmatic content aligns closely with the poem. Richter's creation was not a product of overactive imagination, but was grounded in the information provided by the composer. And this is the orchestration. Strauss employs treble winds orchestration in this work. with the following instruments. This is woodwinds and brass and percussion, strings and block strings. And this is a regular treble winds orchestration. Death and Transfiguration follows a sonata form with an introduction. Strauss adopts the sonata form as the overarching structure of Death and Transfiguration to depict the struggle between the patient and death. Although based on sonata form, the structure of the work is relatively free. The overall information progression is divided into 4 sections, corresponding to the poem written by Ritter. The composition consists of the following parts: introduction, exposition, development, recapitulation, and coda. And O is death scene, S is memory scene, T is transfiguration scene, P is struggle with death scene and fever scene, N is youth scene. So this is Strauss transfiguration and death and transfigurations follows design. There are 4 sections, and introduction, section 1, section 2, section 3, section 4, and coda. And this is theme O, S, P, T, S, O, S, P, and T, P. Death and transfiguration develops through a series of interconnected motifs, rather than a dominant main theme. The work features more than 10 motifs of varying significance, appearing alternately throughout its seconds to collectively narrate the storyline. At the beginning of the work, the violins and violas introduce the death motif, followed by its appearance on the timpani. However, unlike the strings, the rhythmic pattern of the death motif on the timpanis is altered. The first note of the third beat and the third on the second beat are replaced by a rest. The death motif premier appears on the strings and the timpani, characterized by irregular rhythms, resembling the erratic heartbeat of a patient with a high fever. The motif recurs throughout the piece, intermittently resuffling to emphasize the patient's disordered heartbeat near death. The second theme is breathing motif. The breathing motif first appears in strings in major 7 and 8, consisting of 2 descending notes in stepwise motion. This reflects what Strauss described in a letter to Joseph Stransky in 1894 as the heavy and irregular breathing of the patient. Immediately after, in major 8 and 9, the motif is repeated and expanded, extending from 2 notes to 3. When it reappears in major 13, the final groove changes direction from descending to ascending, serving as a subtle and hopeful indication, shifting the patient's focus away from physical pain to their inner souls. Following this, harp arpeggio evoke memories, drawing the patient back into reminiscence. The third theme is memory motif. There are two memory motifs, both of which make their first appearance amidst harp arpeggios. The harp's melody suggests that the patient has entered a dreamlike state. The memory motifs symbolize the patient's recollections of past joyful times amidst the suffering of impending death. This motif played a crucial role in the subsequent development of the symphony poem. Memory motif 1 first appears in major 17 and can be further divided into two melodic lines. One is descending melody, played by the flute, while the other in an ascending melody on the oboe. These two lines are often intertwined in major 52. Both melodic lines are performed by the English harp. Memory motif 2 begins with an ascending octave in interval, followed by descending motion, while the later part has some fluctuations. The overall direction remains downward. This motif appears infrequently. Its first occurrence is in major 13, followed by its reappearance in major 187, both times played by the flute, starting from major 200. The strings take turns presenting fragments of this motif. However, these instances are neither complete nor true to the original form of the motif. The fourth motif is struggle with death motif and favor motif. The struggle motif with death motif is an ascending melody with continuous raising notes, creating a tense atmosphere that symbolizes the onslaught of pain. At this point, the patient has awakened from their dream, and the pain experienced in reality is far more intense than in the dream. This motif first appears in major 96. The favor motif follows closely appearing in major 100. It consists of a melody that descending dramatically and then ascends by a third, vividly portraying the patient's limbs trembling with pain. These two motifs are closely intertwined, appearing alternately and in relation to one another. And this is favor motif. And the motif of yearning for life is an ascending stepwise melody that follows the death force motif and the favor motif. Expressing the patient's yearning for life is their final moments. It first appears in major 125, played by the woodwinds, beginning in major 128. It's echoed by the cellos and double bass. Responding to the woodwinds above, after major 166, the motif transitions to the violins and is further developed. By major 143, it returns to the lower woodwinds and the cellos and the double bass. Gradually, the yearning for life is suppressed by pain, anticipating another onslaught from the death force. Childhood motif and youth motif. Strauss does not create a new motif to represent the patient's childhood. Instead, he used an inverted form of the breathing motif, combined with the rhythm pattern, from the beginning of the death motif. This motif is simplified in terms of rhythm, melodic structure, and harmony. The childhood motif is primarily played by the harp, characterized by its short and delicate structure. It first appears in measure 206 and is neither continuous nor concentric nor particularly intense. The expressive marking is gradual also. The youth motif is construct, exudes a march-like vigor and transitions to a heroic E-flat major, representing the vitality of the patient's youth. It first appears in measure 235, played by the brass, compared to the childhood motif. It's stronger in dynamic and longer in length, with a heroic melody. The expressive marking is marcato. The transformation motif represents the patient's ideals, symbolizing a vision of a better world. The motif first appears in measure 163 in the viola section, briefly hinting at this ideal. It reappears in measures 319 in the harp section, presented in A-flat major, though still in an incomplete form. In measure 333, it's restated in A major, slightly more developed than the previous appearance. By measure 354, the motif appears in a powerful form in C-sharp major, engaging in a dialogue with variation of the yearning for life motif and the first melody of memory motif. This enhances the grandeur and drama of the transpiration motif. Death and transpiration is a discredited work among Strauss' symphony poem. In this composition, while in thematic matter, from structure of orchestration, composition, and instrumentation, Strauss' profound foundation in traditional music is evident. This is artist value of the work. First is inheritance and innovation in form structure. Second is breakthrough in chromatic music narration. Third is introduction and development of multiple themes and motifs. Fourth is orchestration linked to themes and structure. Finally, the conclusion is the symphony poem as one of the most significant forms of programmatic music during the Romantic period, represents an innovation in traditional symphony music. Many composers followed Liszt's footsteps in contributing to this genre. Strauss, with his masterful compositional techniques, boldly advanced the genre. His symphonic poem not only inherited Liszt's tradition, but also draw influence from Beethoven and Wagner. By integrating his creative vision into the traditional framework, Strauss brought the symphony point to its zenith. And that's all of my lecture. Thank you.